First strike. The Vedrani Empire had conquered 17 civilizations across 3 galactic arms, and Earth would be their 18th. Or so they thought. Supreme Commander Vexthor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dawn, watching holographic displays of the primitive human vessels attempting to defend their colony on Mars. Their ships were crude, relying on chemical propulsion and basic energy shields that barely deserved the name. This would be a simple conquest. Supreme Commander, the humans are adopting an unusual formation, reported his tactical officer, mandibles clicking with confusion. They appear to be retreating in a spiral pattern. Vexthor's scaled skin rippled with amusement. Every species tried something different when faced with inevitable defeat. Let them have their final moment of defiance. Continued the advance. Standard conquest protocol. But Commander Elena Santos of the Human Space Force had other plans. From her command chair aboard the HSS Arcturus, she watched the Vedrani fleet fall perfectly into position. The enemy's arrogance was their weakness. They hadn't bothered to analyze why humans would choose such an inefficient retreat pattern. All ships confirm quantum field generators are charged, her XO reported, dark eyes gleaming with anticipation. Signal the Lazarus Protocol, Santos ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's future resting on this moment. Let's show them why you should never judge a species by their visible technology. The Vedrani ships pressed forward, their energy weapons charging for another barrage. They never saw the trap until it was too late. The spiraling human ships had created a complex geometric pattern, and at Santos's command, they activated technology that the Vedrani had dismissed as impossible for such a primitive race to possess. Quantum fields erupted between the human vessels, linking together in a massive web of energy. The Vedrani ships suddenly found themselves caught in localized pockets of distorted spacetime, their advanced drives unable to compensate for the fundamental warping of reality around them. Impossible. Vexthor roared as his flagship systems began to fail. Their energy signatures suggested pre-FTL technology. That's the problem with assumptions, Santos murmured, though of course the Vedrani commander couldn't hear her. You never bothered to ask why we let you scan our older ships. The real human fleet dropped their stealth fields, revealing vessels that would have given even the Vedrani pause had they known of their existence. The HSS Arcturus and her sister ships were works of art, their quantum-shifted hulls gleaming with patterns that seemed to bend light itself. All ships, execute attack pattern Omega, Santos commanded. Remember your training. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will not be conquered. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries as the moment everything changed. Human ships danced through space with impossible grace, their quantum drives allowing them to partially phase through reality itself. Vedrani weapons found themselves hitting empty space as their targets shifted between dimensional states. The Eternal Dawn shuddered as another volley struck home. How? Vexthor demanded. How did they hide this level of advancement? The answer was simple, though he wouldn't live long enough to appreciate it. Humanity had learned long ago that survival sometimes meant keeping your true capabilities hidden. While the Vedrani had watched Earth's space program with dismissive amusement, humans had been building something unprecedented, a defense force that combined their unique creativity with technology reverse-engineered from careful observation of other species. Target their flagship, Santos ordered. Let's give the Vedrani Empire something to think about. The Arcturus's main weapon powered up, drawing on principles of physics that the Vedrani had never considered. The resulting blast didn't just destroy the Eternal Dawn. It separated the mighty vessel into its constituent atoms, scattered across a small pocket of artificially generated vacuum. As the remaining Vedrani ships fled in disarray, Santos allowed herself a small smile. This was only the beginning. Humanity had revealed itself, and the galaxy would never be the same. Send word to Earth Command, she ordered. First strike successful. Operation Hidden Hand is now in effect. The stars seemed to shine brighter as humanity took its first steps toward becoming a true galactic power. The Vedrani Empire had made a crucial mistake. They had judged an entire species by its surface appearance, never considering that humans might have learned the value of keeping their true strength hidden until the perfect moment. The galaxy's darkest hour hadn't begun with the arrival of a Vedrani fleet. It had begun with humanity's response, and the darkness was not for Earth, but for any empire that thought they could subjugate the human spirit. The hidden weapon. Deep within the quantum core of the HSS Arcturus, Dr. Maya Chen watched streams of data flow through the neural network defense system. The NNDS was humanity's greatest secret, not just an artificial intelligence, but a symbiotic digital ecosystem that learned and evolved in real time. While the Vedrani fled from their disastrous first encounter, they remained unaware that every weapon they had fired, every defensive maneuver they had attempted, had been analyzed and countered by something far beyond their comprehension. System status. Commander Santos asked, stepping into the quantum core chamber. The room pulsed with a soft blue light, its crystalline walls reflecting the intricate patterns of data streams. The network has already adapted to their entire weapon spectrum, Maya replied, her fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. But there's something else you need to see. The display shifted, showing a complex analysis of Vedrani ship movements during the battle. Their tactical algorithms are predictable because they're static. The Vedrani rely on strategies that have worked for centuries, but they've never encountered an opponent that could evolve faster than they could attack. Santos studied the patterns, a small smile playing at her lips. They'd grown complacent in their superiority. How long until they realize what they're really dealing with? They already suspect something's wrong, Maya said, pulling up intercepted Vedrani communications. Their retreat wasn't just about losing the battle. They're scared. Their sensors detected energy signatures they can't explain, patterns of adaptation that shouldn't be possible. The NNDS had been Earth's most closely guarded secret for the past decade. While other nations developed conventional weapons and starships, a hidden consortium of Earth's brightest minds had taken a different approach. They had created a system that could not only learn from every encounter, but could predict and counter threats before they materialized. High Command is implementing Phase 2, Santos announced, watching as new data streams joined the quantum flow. Every human ship is being integrated into the network. We're not just defending anymore. We're taking the fight to them. Maya's hands stilled over her console. The Vedrani don't understand what makes humans different, she said softly. They've conquered species that were more technologically advanced than us, species with larger populations or stronger weapons. But they've never faced a civilization that could turn their own tactics against them in real time. The NNDS wasn't just a weapon. It was humanity's answer to being the newcomers in a hostile galaxy. Unable to match their opponents' centuries of technological development, humans had instead created something unprecedented. A defense system that grew stronger with every attack. A network that could think in ways alien minds couldn't predict. Across the solar system, human ships were already implementing the lessons learned from the first battle. Quantum fields were being recalibrated, weapon frequencies adjusted, defensive patterns optimized. The network had turned the entire human fleet into a single evolving organism. They'll be back, Santos said, watching as new combat simulations played across the quantum displays. And when they come, they'll bring everything they have. Let them, Maya replied, her confidence growing as she watched the network process countless potential scenarios. Every ship they send is just more data for the network to analyze. Every weapon they fire teaches us more about their capabilities. They don't realize they're not just fighting our ships. They're fighting every battle they've ever fought, every strategy they've ever used, all turned back against them. The quantum core pulsed brighter as new information flowed in from deep space sensors. The Vedrani were regrouping, gathering their forces for what they believed would be an overwhelming response. They still didn't understand that their true defeat had begun the moment they first opened fire. "What's the latest projection?" Santos asked, noting how the data streams had taken on a new pattern. The network predicts they'll attack with their entire third fleet, Maya said, bringing up a tactical overlay. 700 ships, including 3 dreadnoughts. They think overwhelming force is the answer. Santos nodded, her expression grim but determined. And our counter? Already prepared. The network has developed 15 different response strategies, each adapted to specific Vedrani attack patterns. But more importantly, it's created entirely new tactics that they won't be able to predict or counter. The commander studied the proposed battle plans, marveling at their complexity and elegance. The network hadn't just learned to fight. It had learned to think in ways that alien strategists, bound by centuries of tradition and proven tactics, could never anticipate. Send word to all ships, Santos ordered. Begin implementation of Defense Pattern Echo. Let's show the Vedrani that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology, it's our ability to adapt. As the orders went out, Maya watched the network continue its endless evolution. The Vedrani Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had judged humanity's weapons but failed to understand humanity's mind. The enthusiast wasn't just a defense system. It was the embodiment of human ingenuity, the product of a species that had learned to turn its greatest disadvantage, being newcomers to a hostile galaxy, into an overwhelming advantage. The hidden weapon had been revealed, but its true power was still unfolding. The galaxy's balance of power wasn't shifting because of superior firepower or advanced technology. It was changing because humanity had created something that could outthink, outmaneuver, and outvolve any threat it faced. The next battle would not just be a clash of ships and weapons. It would be a confrontation between 2 fundamentally different approaches to warfare. The Vedrani's rigid perfection against humanity's endless adaptation. And in that battle, the ability to evolve would prove far more powerful than the ability to destroy. Counterattack. The Vedrani Third Fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect attack formation. 700 warships arranged in the time-tested spear of conquest pattern that had broken planetary defenses across 3 galactic arms. Grand Admiral Zexlar stood aboard his super dreadnought, the Imperial Judgment, confidence radiating from his scaled form. The humans had gotten lucky once, but no primitive species could stand against the full might of a Vedrani battle fleet. Multiple human vessels detected, his sensor officer reported. They appear to be scattered randomly across the system. Zexlar's inner eyelids flickered in confusion. The tactical display showed human ships spread out in what seemed to be a completely chaotic pattern, defying every principle of fleet warfare. They've lost their minds in fear, he declared. All ships, advance and destroy. But aboard the HMS Prometheus, Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen, Maya's mother and the architect of humanity's military strategy, smiled as she watched the Vedrani fleet move exactly as the neural network had predicted. All ships initiate chaos protocol, she transmitted. Show them why humans don't think in straight lines. The scattered human vessels suddenly burst into action, but not in any way the Vedrani could comprehend. Each ship seemed to be operating independently, following its own random course, firing at seemingly arbitrary targets. There was no formation, no coordinated assault pattern, nothing that resembled proper military doctrine. This is madness, Zexlar growled. They fight like savages with no. His words cut off as understanding dawned too late. The apparent chaos was a pattern too complex for Vedrani minds to grasp, but the neural network had calculated every movement, every shot, every sequence with perfect precision. Human ships phased in and out of quantum states, appearing to break fundamental laws of physics. Their weapons fired in synchronized patterns that created cascading energy waves, turning space itself into a weapon. The Vedrani fleet's perfect formation became its weakness as human vessels wove an intricate web of destruction through their ranks. Impossible. Zexlar roared as ship after ship reported critical failures. How are they coordinating these attacks? The answer was beautiful in its complexity. The neural network had evolved beyond simple battlefield analysis. It had learned to think in 4 dimensions, treating space and time as malleable resources. Every human ship was both an individual fighter and part of a vast, living equation, their movements creating geometric patterns that turned chaos into devastating order. Phase 2. Admiral Chen commanded, her voice calm as she watched the battle unfold. The Prometheus's quantum core hummed as it channeled power into humanity's newest weapon, the reality shear drive. The technology was originally developed from studying how Vedrani ships manipulated space for faster-than-light travel. But humans had taken the concept further, using the neural network's unprecedented processing power to calculate ways to temporarily tear the fabric of space-time itself. Vedrani sensors screamed warnings as reality seemed to fold in on itself. Ships that had survived humanity's initial assault found themselves caught in bubbles of distorted space-time, their advanced shields useless against an attack that came from between the moments of now and then. All ships, full retreat, Zexlar ordered, but the command came too late. The human fleet's apparently random positioning had actually created a vast, multi-dimensional trap. As the Vedrani ships tried to flee, they found their escape routes cut off by precisely calculated quantum fields. Signal from the Imperial Judgment. A communications officer reported to Admiral Chen. They're requesting terms of surrender. Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes shone with fierce pride. Transmit the standard response. Unconditional surrender only. We will ensure fair treatment under the Geneva Convention. As the battle concluded, the full extent of humanity's victory became clear. The mighty Third Fleet, terror of 1,000 worlds, had been systematically dismantled by what they had dismissed as a primitive species. But more importantly, humanity had demonstrated a completely new form of warfare, one that operated beyond the boundaries of conventional military thinking. Send word to Earth Command, Chen ordered. Operation Paradigm Shift is complete. Begin preparations for Phase 3. In his final moments of command, Grand Admiral Zexlar watched the human ships move with terrible grace through the debris field that had been his fleet. "What are you?" he transmitted, his message heavy with defeat and awe. "We are humanity," Chen replied simply. "And we're rewriting the rules of warfare. The galaxy thought we were primitive because we didn't follow their patterns. They never considered that we might have found better ones." The neural network continued its endless calculations, learning from every moment of the battle, evolving strategies that would have been impossible just hours before. Humanity hadn't just won a battle, they had demonstrated a new kind of combat evolution, one that treated warfare not as a contest of force, but as a multidimensional problem to be solved in real time. As the Prometheus led the fleet back to Earth, Admiral Chen knew that this victory would change everything. The Vedrani Empire would be forced to recognize that their military doctrine, unchanged for centuries, had been rendered obsolete by human innovation. But more importantly, the galaxy would have to accept that humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered. They were pioneers of a new age, where adaptation and creativity proved more powerful than tradition and force. The Alliance. The Nexari diplomatic vessel emerged from hyperspace with a grace that seemed almost organic. Unlike the angular warships of the Vedrani, this ship resembled a living crystal, its translucent hull refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Ambassador Lyra Netak stood at its observation dome, her bioluminescent markings pulsing with anticipation as Earth came into view. For centuries, the Nexari had watched from the shadows as the Vedrani Empire expanded. As masters of biotechnology and quantum computing, they could have challenged Vedrani dominance, but their society valued harmony over conquest. Now, for the first time in their history, they were reaching out to another species, not out of fear or necessity, but out of fascination. The Human Defense Council chamber in Geneva hummed with tension as Admiral Chen and Commander Santos waited alongside Earth's top diplomats. The neural network had analyzed every scrap of data about the Nexari, but their reclusive nature meant that even its vast processing power could only speculate about their true intentions. Their ship design alone confirms our theories, Dr. Maya Chen whispered to Santos, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the approaching vessel. They're at least 3 centuries ahead of the Vedrani in biotechnology. The real question is, why reach out now? The answer came as Ambassador Nitax materialized in the chamber, her form shimmering into existence through what appeared to be a biological teleportation system. Her crystalline exoskeleton caught the light, creating rainbow patterns across the walls, and her voice resonated with harmonic undertones that made the air itself seem to sing. "We have watched," she began, her perfect English carrying subtle musical notes, "as your species achieved what we thought impossible. You defeated the Vedrani not through superior numbers or advanced technology, but through fundamental innovation in how warfare itself is conducted." The neural network sensors analyzed every aspect of the ambassador's presence, feeding data to Maya's console. The Nexeri weren't just advanced. They were what humanity might become in 1,000 years of peaceful development. "Our scientists are particularly intrigued by your neural network defense system," Nitax continued, causing several council members to shift uncomfortably. They had thought that aspect of their technology was still secret. "Do not be alarmed. We have been monitoring its quantum signatures since its first activation. It is beautiful, a perfect synthesis of digital and organic thinking." Admiral Chen stepped forward. "You're suggesting an alliance," she stated directly, drawing an appreciative ripple of bioluminescence from the ambassador. "More than an alliance," Nitax replied. "We propose a synthesis. Your species has demonstrated something unique in the galaxy. The ability to evolve not just biologically or technologically, but conceptually. You think in ways that neither we nor the Vedrani could predict." The implications were staggering. The Nexeri weren't just offering military cooperation. They were proposing to share technology that could revolutionize human civilization. But more importantly, they were offering validation of humanity's approach to innovation. "There are others," Nitax revealed, her crystalline form shifting to project a galactic map. "Species that have been watching, waiting for someone to challenge Vedrani dominance. Your victory has sparked something unprecedented: hope." Over the next several hours, the ambassador outlined a vision of galactic cooperation that went far beyond traditional alliances. The Nexeri proposed combining their biotechnology with human adaptive systems, creating hybrid technologies that could transform both civilizations. "Your neural network," Nitax explained, interfacing directly with Maya's console through some form of crystalline technology. "It evolves through digital means. Our biotechnology evolves through organic processes. Imagine combining them, creating systems that could adapt both digitally and biologically, growing and learning in ways neither of our species could achieve alone." The Human Defense Council chamber had become a symbol of Earth's unity in the face of alien aggression. Now it became something more, the birthplace of a partnership that could reshape the galaxy. "There's something else you should know," Nitax said as the formal discussions concluded. "The Vedrani, they're not retreating. They're gathering their entire fleet for one final assault. They would rather risk everything than accept that their era of dominance is ending." Admiral Chen's expression hardened. "How many ships?" "Over 3,000, Nitax replied. "Every combat-capable vessel in their empire. They believe that sheer numbers will overwhelm your adaptive capabilities." But instead of fear, the humans in the chamber showed only determination. The neural network was already processing this new information, generating countless scenarios and solutions. And now, with Nexeri biotechnology to incorporate into their strategies, they had even more possibilities to explore. "Let them come," Commander Santos said, her voice carrying the confidence of someone who had seen humanity overcome impossible odds. "The network grows stronger with every challenge. And now, thanks to this alliance, we'll be ready to show them something they've never seen before. 2 species working together, not just to fight, but to evolve." As the Nexeri ambassador's form shimmered with approval, the gathered humans understood that they had reached a turning point. Their victory over the Vedrani hadn't just proven their military capabilities. It had demonstrated to the galaxy that there was another way. Innovation, adaptation, and cooperation could triumph over stagnation and conquest. The coming battle would be more than a test of strength. It would be a clash between the old galaxy and the new, between empire and alliance, between stagnation and evolution. And humanity, standing alongside their new allies, was ready to lead the way into that new era. Turning point. The combined human-Nexari fleet hung in space near Jupiter's orbit, a stark contrast of crystalline biological ships and quantum-shifted metal vessels. In just 2 weeks, the neural network had integrated with Nexari biotechnology, creating something unprecedented in galactic history, a hybrid defense system that could evolve both digitally and organically. Aboard the HS Prometheus, now enhanced with crystalline quantum processors, Admiral Sarah Chen watched as the largest Vedrani fleet ever assembled emerged from hyperspace. 3,000 warships filled the tactical display, their formation a testament to centuries of military doctrine. "They still don't understand," Dr. Maya Chen said, monitoring the newly evolved neural network. The system now flowed through both digital pathways and organic crystal matrices. Its processing capability increased exponentially. "They think this is about numbers." Commander Santos, commanding the newly commissioned HS at Hyperion, transmitted from her position near Europa. "The network has finished its analysis. They're using traditional Vedrani battle doctrine, the hammer of destiny formation. They expect to overwhelm us with synchronized mass fire." The Vedrani Supreme Fleet Commander, Arcthos himself, broadcast on all frequencies. His voice carried the weight of an empire that had never known true defeat. "Surrender now, and your species will be permitted to survive as a protectorate. Resist, and we will ensure humanity never threatens galactic order again." Ambassador Nitax's crystalline vessel pulsed with colors that the neural network translated as determination. "They speak of order," she communicated through the hybrid network, "but they fear true evolution." Admiral Chen's response was broadcast, not just through communication channels, but through the very fabric of space-time itself, carried by quantum fields that made her words resonate at a fundamental level. "Humanity doesn't surrender to those who fear change. We adapt, we evolve, and today we show you the future." The battle began not with weapons fire, but with reality itself shifting. The hybrid network had learned to manipulate space-time in ways that even the Nexari had never imagined. Human quantum technology combined with Nexari crystal computing created ripples in the cosmic fabric, turning the battlefield into a 4-dimensional chess game. Vedrani ships fired their weapons only to find their targets had existed in those locations seconds ago, or would exist there seconds later. The network wasn't just predicting movements. It was calculating probability waves and manifesting the most advantageous quantum states. "Impossible." Arcthos raged as his carefully planned assault dissolved into chaos. "No technology can." "That's your limitation," Maya transmitted back. "You think in terms of technology. We think in terms of possibility." The human Nexari fleet moved like a living organism, each ship both independent and part of a greater whole. Nexari vessels extruded crystalline structures that merged with human quantum fields, creating defense systems that adapted faster than weapons could strike them. Human ships phased through multiple dimensional states, their attacks coming from angles that shouldn't exist in normal space. The network had evolved beyond its original parameters, becoming something that transcended both digital and organic limitations. It didn't just learn from the battle. It learned from possible battles, from quantum superpositions of tactical choices, from the very mathematics of warfare itself. Vedrani ships began to fall, not one by one, but in cascading waves as carefully coordinated attacks shattered their formations. Their rigid battle doctrine, unchanged for centuries, proved fatally vulnerable to strategies that rewrote the rules of combat with each passing moment. "This is your final warning," Admiral Chen transmitted as the Vedrani fleet's coordination began to crumble. "Stand down, or face the consequences of your choice. Arcthaw's response was to order his remaining ships into a suicide run, believing that sacrifice in service to the Empire was preferable to accepting defeat. But the network had predicted this too, had calculated the psychological breaking point of an empire built on unbending tradition. What happened next would be debated in military academies for centuries. The human Nexeri fleet executed what became known as the Transcendence Maneuver, a combination of quantum physics and biotechnology that briefly connected every ship in both fleets through a unified field of consciousness. For one eternal moment, the Vedrani experienced what their enemies had created, a harmony of digital precision and organic growth, of human innovation and Nexeri wisdom. They felt the fundamental truth that had eluded their empire for so long, that true power came not from dominance, but from evolution. The Vedrani fleet powered down their weapons. On every ship, crews stood in stunned silence, their understanding of the universe fundamentally altered. Arcthos himself was the first to transmit his surrender, his voice carrying not shame, but awakening. "We understand now," he said simply. "The galaxy is changing. Perhaps it is time we changed as well." As the surrender was formalized, Ambassador Netax's ship synchronized with the Prometheus, creating a display of light and energy that symbolized the dawn of a new era. "This victory," she communicated to all present, "is not the end, but a beginning. Together, we have shown that the future belongs not to those who maintain power, but to those who dare to evolve." Admiral Chen looked out at the assembled fleets, human ships of quantum-shifted metal, Nexeri vessels of living crystal, and Vedrani warships that would soon be repurposed for peace. The neural network hummed with new possibilities, its hybrid nature now a template for how different species could combine their strengths. "The galaxy's darkest hour has passed," she transmitted to all ships. "Not through destruction, but through transformation. Not through conquest, but through understanding. This is humanity's gift to the stars. The knowledge that there is always another way, always room to grow, to change, to become more than we are." As the combined fleet set course for Earth, the network calculated countless possible futures, each brighter than the last. Humanity had not just survived its trial by fire. It had sparked a revolution in how civilizations could interact, grow, and evolve together. The galaxy's greatest powers had learned a crucial lesson. In the end, the most powerful force in the universe was not weapons or technology, or even knowledge itself. It was the ability to adapt, to change, and to imagine new possibilities. And in that, humanity was just getting started.